know why they say 67 and why so much endorphins are released when they do that to you? I know why they're doing it. The question is, are you bright enough to also know why they're doing it?
You may have noticed some new lingo.
All right, but do you have any idea what they're actually saying? Fox 5's Audrey Puente is here to give us a lesson in Gen Z slang. Please proceed, Audrey.
Yes, me and Nick are both giggling at this because we don't know what they're saying.
6'7", a meme kids can't get enough of and teachers can't get away from.
We are not saying the word 6'7" anymore. If you do, you have to write a 67-word essay.
You want to know what time I woke up this morning?
What time?
Around 6'7". 6'7".
You ask your kids, what does 6'7" mean? They don't know either.
And that's where the brain rot is kind of being pointed to.
Right. I know why they're doing it. The question is, are you bright enough to also know why they're doing it? I know exactly what it means. And I actually agree with them. And if I was more of a rapping guy, I would say 6'7" more often, but I don't need to. Dude, like, even when I was a kid, but it's terrible now. Grown-ups are so disconnected. They think they're there, but they're not. The school systems, the little programs, the little Bible programs, the coloring books for Jesus, all the different stuff that we hand them are terrible simplifications of the world. Lazy attempts to try to give them virtues, instructions, leadership, mentorship. It's basically degenerated. Every effort, if you can even call it that the Western world has made to get through to the kids has been like reduced to slogans, platitudes, and all these one-dimensional, oversimplified noise that's effectively and functionally meaningless in application. So when they say 6'7", they think it's funny because they know it means absolutely nothing. Nobody knows what it means. It has no, there's no uniform application. There's no physics to it. All it is a mirror to the adults who are saying fancier versions of nothing. That's what it is. That's a big middle finger to the Tower of Babel that is trying to shape them into bricks, meaningless, cheap bricks that they can be stacked into other bricks. Like King Nimrod was the one who came up with the cool idea to make all the kids exactly the same, and they all have to go through the same training program. And we need to shape all these kids into bricks so that they can function in our Tower of Babel, and then you can just stack them. If you lose a few, not a big deal, get another brick. They're all exactly the same. You made them that way. So why sending your kids to school or legacy institutions like colleges or like huge corporate entities with a military or government training, it's built into the system to take a beautiful multidimensional child that has all sorts of unique properties and then shave them down so that these retarded one-dimensional institutions can dirt the brick stacks wherever I want because they don't have the skills to stack living stones that are unique. And they know it. So by function, if they want to be the god of their tower, they have to turn the children into bricks. So what do? You ever read the book 1984? Empty phrases that don't make any damn sense. Why? Because it shapes them into squares so that they can be stacked by ungifted people. How are they? Who's supposed to stack them, by the way? That's a question for you. Maybe we'll answer that on Patreon where we do our training on this topic. But you know why they say 67 and why so much endorphins are released when they do that to you? 6'7", 6'7". The teacher's like, I don't know what that means. You kids better stop it. They love it. Why does it feel so good for them to say it? Because at least they're not lying. They up front know it's nonsensical. They don't present it as the almighty, whatever slogan, mantra, advertising bullshit that they do in the rest of the world. They can just honestly make fun of and give you the gesture saying, hey, this is what it feels like, doesn't it? How do you like having nonsense shot at you? Could they articulate that in English? They don't need to, because they're getting the point across. See, if they explained it to you, then it would lose its gravity. So, like, in the 6-7, there's no, like, bullshit moral lesson that actually doesn't hold any water that we bombard them with. The schools and the churches and the Sunday schools and all this stuff, guys, terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And man, do teachers really think they got a good connection with these children. Well, the ones with any spunky life in them. It's very common for them to, why do you think they have to medicate the kids, the smart ones? It is very difficult to control yourself in an environment where you're told by a person with half the IQ you have to sit quietly in a chair, stare at a wall, and then color a picture of a pine cone when you could go into the forest and look at a real one. That's why. So they're bombarded. Think of Gen Alpha, this new batch of kids. They're totally bombarded all the time. You guys know what a platitude is? It's basically like it's meant to comfort you, but it's overused, shallow, and it has no meaning. But like institutions use them all the time. They've been so bombarded by that bullshit, like morally and educationally, that they're cynical. Like everything's bullshit. It's fake plastic wisdom, fake plastic spiritualism, fake plastic intelligence. They know it's bullshit, and they just want to exist. And like, I watched the clip that went super mega viral that made this deal catch on. You know why it was so catchy for kids? You know why? I relate to it. The kid was actually excited with his friends at a basketball game where he wasn't being hovered over by damn hovercraft and being shaped into a brick, and he was just allowed to be silly in the bleachers. And so he does his little rap move, and then they show the ball going into the hoop or whatever. And everyone's so excited. So it's that symbol now, 6-7, and whatever this thing is, was attached to a true final last node of authenticity, and enthusiasm just to be a human that wasn't frickin' stamped out by the adults and the frickin' taskmaster Egyptians trying to shape us into bricks, or like the King Nimrod's frickin' brick makers. And so they connect to that. When they do it, they're thinking it feels kind of nice to be free for at least 2 seconds while I'm saying this nonsense back at the system that is continuously cramming me into their mold. I watch the news guys talking about it like, well, it's just shallow, it has no meaning, these kids aren't very smart. I'm like, who's the one that's not very smart? I suffered a religious education that was a pretty good formal religious education, and I had to sit there and smile, and like in the second grade, man, I realized, holy smokes, this is what, like, the parents and the teachers were the ones excited about all these great ideas for kids. We're going to snip out a little picture of a duck, and we're going to put a little pin in it so its little mouth opens. Isn't that cute? Oh, Junior, it sounds like we're going to glue a train together made out of candy corn and we're going to do it like, what the hell's going on here? You're the one excited to watch me glue the candy corn together. Now, if gluing candy corn together is what you're into, that's great. But you're making everyone do it for the sake of killing time because you're babysitting us? And you call it like, oh, wow, the children just love the candy. You know how many times I heard shit like that? 50 trillion times. You ever go to the church where they have the, okay, now we're going to have the children's story. Okay, all right. And what it is this giant dog and pony show where they parade all the poor kids up there and they're like, oh, God. And the adult's like, oh, boy, it's children vampire time where we get to slurp up all the positive energy forces from people that's soul ain't been crushed yet because there's nothing in this building for me besides that. So let's put them up front. It's crazy town. So they parade all the kids up there. And then like psychic mode, just like trying to absorb as much as possible. And they're not excited to go up there. Did you ever notice that? They did not notice it. Why? Because they're so freaking in their own program. They have no idea. They're so full of their own bullshit. They actually thought that their cool idea for kid time was that's going to help them. And every one of those kids with an IQ that can toast bread lately absolutely understands. I have to go and look cute for the adults. Okay, fine. I'll sit here and I'll pretend to laugh at the puppy dog story. Oh, wow, they loved it. No, they did not. At least maybe a few did. And if they did, that's great. That's just great. That's fine. Not talking shit if the kid actually, like maybe a really little kid would think that was funny or something. On some level, but even there, it's staged and weird and yucky. And so they put him up there, and it's all about the teacher, actually, doing the lesson in front of the kids. Did you see? All right, children, here's our book. We're going to read it. And then they look at everyone. Is everyone watching how good I am with the children? Look at me. Okay, there was a puppy dog. And they look around. It's like crazy town. So if you subject the kids to that deal for years on end, and you're so freaking disconnected that when you read them, you think that they're like, okay, now can I just go home, Mom? No, you have to hear the puppy dog story again. How the hell can adults be so disconnected as to not pick up on the energy vibe of what's going down? Blows my freaking mind. I can see it clear as day. Why? Because I have empathy. I used to be a kid in their shoes, man. I totally remember doing that shit. And I totally remember not liking it very much. And so think of that generation grows up. That's their version of church. And it's supposed to explain how the creator of the universe, which is actually real, is reduced to that. The creator of the universe is compressed into a 2D paper-thin sheet of paper that you color Noah's Ark, and you're told that's the truth of the universe and the gravity of what should guide us in our life. And all the platitudes, the sayings, the slogans, the church programs, all that stuff is just as paper-thin. Totally killing on her soul. Thank God I had a good father, my dad, who absolutely could detect like, they didn't really cover that much ground. I better explain this to my son. And he would take me aside when we're driving or fishing or down by the way or whatever, like it says in the Bible, like Deuteronomy 6, where every individual Israelite or, person of God is like responsible to teach that lesson to everybody all day long. Why? Because if it doesn't come from an actual human being transmitted to another actual human, if it comes from a freaking institution, dude, when you pawn off important stuff like that to a freaking program or an institution, It's going to get cheap quick, just like a freaking McDonald's sandwich or a taco from Taco Bell versus Grandma's Tacos. You pick. How exactly do you want to put this message on the plate? Just go through the Taco Bell drive-thru. It's great. It's the best taco ever. Oh, the kids love it. Yeah, because they never see nothing else. And so these children grow up in this meaningless bullshit world of fakery where lazy parents pawn off these responsibilities on these institutions, and where the parents are dumb enough to think that the institution's gravity is like, wow, they got to go to college. Like, what? Like, that's as freaking ridiculous as saying, like, wow, they were in the military. So, like, the college makes you smart, like the military makes you virtuous. It's the same crazy shit. Like, what? These giant legacy institutions cannot possibly convey that. They are the inverse of able to do that. By design, they have to be super, super, super one-dimensional, simple, to maintain product flow at a high rate. They don't have time to explain anything to anyone in real life. It's all reduced to block formatted bullshit rather than the tree of life design, which grows organically. So I'll tell you what, I understand why the kids say 6'7", because it feels good to say something true that's also nonsense without having to lie. See, the adults package 800 billion tons of nonsense that takes freaking 18 years to deliver it into the kid, to force them in there. 18 years of this shit. God forbid they would go on to another career, to another one of them things on a different level and continue to have that happen to them. To where there's nothing left. It's a cartoon picture drawn by Pharaoh. After you've been institutionalized by college or any other government shit, like, or whatever you're doing, whatever the identity they hand you is, it's a cartoon. Did you know that's why God invented the second commandment? Don't dare you cram me into one of your stupid cartoon pictures. That's not explaining what I'm actually about. See? That's what he said. Yeah, in the second commandment. How dare you try to put me into a picture or a thing? And I'm not even a literal picture. The idea of institutionalizing it like a freaking crayon drawing version of God. Like, how dare you say that that's him? I'm talking in terms of how we transmit all this stuff. It's not talking about just a statue or a picture. To take this beautiful existence and ram it into just a freaking cartoon snapshot, super oversimplified, cheap, and printed off 8 billion of them. There you go, kid. There's life for you. Now go sit in a cubicle, and whatever that taskmaster comes out with the whip, you better do it. Hit all the buttons he tells you to. Oh, wow, I have a good job. That's right. And you are got paid well. Did you really get paid well? And that great job. They gave me a nickel with Abraham Lincoln's picture on it, or whatever the hell his president would be on there. What can you buy with that? Nothing. Nothing that's actually valuable. Or your $1 million. What can you actually buy with that? Nothing that's actually valuable. So the kids, they're not lying, and they enjoy connecting to an authentic, youthful energy that ain't been shaped yet. And that's why they're not going to tell you what it means, but have some empathy for them. When they're doing that, it's because, like, you ever see how it's used? You ever see how the phrase is used? 6'7", 6'7"? Like, when people are really overbearing down and the kid detects, like I did when I was a little kid, this freaking person has actually no idea what the hell's going on. They're just quoting the teacher's book. They have no freaking clue on how this shit works. They've never been there. They've never actually seen it. All they know is what's in that teacher's book, and they're saying it at me. And the notes in the book, when I walked by the desk, you know what the notes in the book say? Emphatically and enthusiastically make this particular point to the children. Oh, the teacher's like a robot. Okay, now it's for me to like stress this certain point. It's like they can't even think of, they don't even know how to like they don't even know which parts to be excited about in the book. Why? Because there's nothing in there worth it. And so when the teacher's bearing down, or the parent or the church guy or whatever the hell terrible robot drone taskmaster is shaping your kid from this beautiful organism into perfectly uniform little lumber blocks to be used in Babylon's Lincoln Long housing project. They know that it's empty. They can detect it because they're still young enough. They ain't been all the way shaped down yet. God forbid the day they ever actually fully be shaped down. And I'm not trying to support youth, like rebellion or any of that. But I totally understand they're fighting against all the scripted messaging and bullshit that we've hammered them with. No, not me. You bet your ass I do not do that here. Man, I got close. So many people think that's the way it's got to be done. That it's got to be freaking out of a notebook or some shit. That is not how that works. People need to take basic human training 101. Never seen it. They don't have no idea what being a human is. They're so damn institutionalized. They've been so destroyed. That's like when you go in the army to basic training. It takes 9 months to turn someone from a human into a robot part. That's what it takes. It takes a while under that intense load with giant chisels and the hammer forging and all this, right? And the education system does it nicely. The pasteurization process over 12 years. I mean, think about it. 12 freaking years or more? Ay, ay, ay. And it ain't better in college. Guess what, guys? Rex did awesome in college. And his science department don't mean shit. Those people don't know what the hell's going on in life either. They literally repeat what they were told. We're a bunch of parrots sitting on stools just repeating what the parrot above us said. Nobody's allowed to think. Nobody's allowed to have an opinion. No one is allowed to actually have their own branches. Just repeat what you were told to say, and the teacher will pat me on the head and give me a yellow banana sticker on my form saying how good of a boy I am. It's a semantic protest when they say 6'7". And a valid one. Other generations did it in different ways. This is how this one's doing it, because it is bad. It's really bad out there. If the kids had something authentic to chew on, I don't know if they've ever would seen that before. Unless, some of the kids that are blessed enough to maybe live out where there's dirt or something would have some authenticity just by necessity to not, to be able to run an operation like a farm or something or orchard or something. But man, oh man, is the world just a cheap plastic giant BS engine pumping out nonsense upon nonsense upon nonsense continuously. And I ain't hardly ever seen a religious program either that conveys that all that well. Because those guys have little factories to institutionalize themselves. And then it becomes about their thing rather than his thing. It's about their gravitas rather than his gravitas. It's about their wisdom and their messaging and their packaging and their formatting more than his. And they lose it the second they take their eyes off him and they put their eyes into their own posteriors. And the kids can taste the difference between the reality and it is crazy to see the people who are suckered into that full hook, line, and sinker, the older ones. Oh, wow, they liked that. No, they did not. How the hell do you think they enjoyed that? Can you read humans? Some people cannot read humans. They're like totally oblivious. So that's why they say that 2 numbers. It's not about a rap video. That's just any handle of nonsensical stuff that would be like. The point is, they're crying out for authenticity. And at least that's how they can signal it to each other. And they think it's funny as hell, because now you're the confused one, whereas they're the confused. See, here's the messed up part. In reality, you are the confused one with all your stuff that you think you know. From school, church, job, training, whatever. The universe is more complex than that. And the bullshit they taught you at those factories, whichever one it is, pick one. Whichever BS factory it is. Whichever giant, huge legacy institution. It's plastic. And they know it. But you don't know it. You're the one that is saying the crazy stuff that is nonsensical. And you do know it. But you say it anyways. So you're doing the same thing as 6-7. You're just faking that it actually has meaning. So you're bearing false witness. You're like, I don't really understand, but like, this is the knowledge of the world. So like, I'll just say it. Oh yeah, children, like, we're all going to stick together or whatever shit that you guys say. Or what was it? When I was in school, I am somebody special. I remember the nuns teaching us that one, and we're all like, huh? First or second grade, there was like 2 or 3 of the like teachers' pet girls that are like, oh, that's just so nice. Yeah, you would freaking think you're going to be a teacher, aren't you? You're going to grow up and do the same shit they're doing. I'm somebody special. They lost 80% of all the dudes. They're like, nope, I'm sorry, I'm not buying that shit. Like, you're fake. That's not true. If I was somebody special, why am I in the cookie cutter getting reformed into something specifically that is not special, that is 100% uniform? Like soldiers arranged in a rows in the house of the great whore. That's communicated in the ancient texts. To sit in like just boom, 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 Babylon's human factory making another brick in the wall. Pink Floyd was right. That's what they're saying. So I hope this was helpful in translating why your kid is saying 6-7. Is because it feels good to let you have a little bit of the nonsense too. So next time they're doing it, just appreciate that at least they're still a human. And maybe we should rethink our approach to lives and think, is this Burger King version of life that I handed my kid? They'll teach, the freaking institution's going to teach my kid. Or the church institution is going to teach them that angle instead of me. Or if I do it, I have to do it the way these guys did it. Are you on crack? Yes. If you think you have to do it the way they do it, you are literally on crack. If you like the truth-seeking missile, please let me know below. Thank you for your support for those of you guys on Patreon. I hope this is helpful. You guys have an awesome day. Rex out.